turbulence in the relationship between Canada and the U.S. continues to drive down travel to the U.S. For the fourth month in a row, Canadians scratched the U.S. off their travel list when they could.
When it comes for vacation, I think there's other places I would rather go.
The constant jokes about annexing Canada, Canada being the 51st state, and that coming from the mouth of very high-level political leaders, just put a very sour taste in my mouth, and the tariffs as well.
Canada has just dropped a bombshell on the world stage, boycotting all flights to the United States. What began as a subtle change in travel trends has exploded into a full-blown economic shockwave, threatening to drain billions from both nations. But here's the real question: why? Why would America's closest ally suddenly slam the brakes on cross-border travel? This isn't just about grounded planes or quiet theme parks. No, this is about a much deeper crack forming beneath the surface of a once solid alliance.
Canada faces another critical moment. Democracy, pluralism, the rule of law, self-determination.
Something big is happening behind the scenes, and it's shaking the very core of the US-Canada relationship. Stay with us, because what you're about to uncover might change how you see both countries forever. Last month, something shocking happened. Road trips from Canada into the US plummeted by a staggering 32%.
Well, Chris, we've been talking to people in this area, the St. Pete, Tampa, Dunedin area the last few days, and they all report a significant drop in Canadian tourism.
That's not just a statistic. That's millions of Canadians suddenly deciding to stay home. According to fresh data from Statistics Canada, the backbone of cross-border travel is collapsing, and fast. The question is, what's driving this dramatic shift? And what does it mean for the future of North American travel and trade? After 2 years of booming tourism, the US has just hit a massive roadblock. In 2025, international visitors are pulling back, and fast. Canada, the US's biggest source of foreign tourists, is leading the retreat, making up nearly a quarter of all international travelers. But it's not just Canada. Mexico's air travel numbers to the US nosedived by 23% in March alone. And the pattern doesn't stop there. Visitors from the Caribbean dropped 26%, Central America 24%, and South America 11%. Even Africa and Oceania are down 10% and 8% respectively. Asia, a slight drop, but still falling. This isn't just a dip, it's a global pullback, and the message is loud and clear. Something's turning people away from America. $20.5 billion. That's how much Canadian travelers poured into the US economy in 2024. Just to put that into jaw-dropping perspective, that's almost double what Americans spent at McDonald's last year. Think about that. More money from Canadian tourists than from every Big Mac, Fry, and McFlurry sold across the country. This wasn't just tourism, it was an economic lifeline. And now, it's vanishing. We've got more shocking details coming up. But first, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's next in this unfolding story. Even the airlines are sounding the alarm. In Canada, we've seen a significant drop-off in bookings, Delta President Glenn Hallenstein told investors just last week. And the response? A massive pullback. Major carriers like Delta and United are slashing flights between the US and Canada. United Airlines, partnered with Air Canada, cut more than 63,000 seats from its April schedule. Delta's partner, WestJet, slashed nearly 12,000 seats. And it doesn't stop there. Flair Airlines and Air Transat dropped another 30,000 seats combined. These aren't small adjustments. This is a retreat in full force. The skies between Canada and the US are getting quieter, and the implications are massive. The catalyst for this boycott stems from escalating trade tensions. On February 1, 2025, US President Donald Trump imposed a 10% tariff on energy imports from Canada and a 25% tariff on other Canadian goods. In retaliation, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced a 25% tariff on American imports. Up until recently, the US and Canada were united under the USMCA, a free trade agreement crafted during Trump's first term to replace the aging NAFTA. It was supposed to strengthen economic ties across North America, But this year, everything changed. The US was no longer acting like a trusted partner, but more like a powerhouse looking to squeeze value from Canada's resources without giving anything back. The friendship felt one-sided, and Canadians are starting to push back.
I usually buy my gas for my truck in Blaine, Washington. I don't do that anymore. And I don't usually shop in the States unless maybe if I went down to Seattle to watch the Blue Jays or something, I might, but I won't be doing that again either. Why should I be helping the US economy when they're doing all these bad things to us? Things are not good. There's this talk of the 51st state, which it doesn't do anything for our relations. And also the tariffs are going to...
And then came the spark that truly lit the fire. Inflammatory rhetoric from US leaders that many Canadians saw as downright insulting. In public speeches, some even referred to Canada as the 51st state. What might have sounded like a joke to some landed like a slap in the face to millions north of the border. To Canadians, this wasn't just a throwaway line, it was a symbol of how their nation was being undervalued, mocked, and disrespected on the global stage. It wasn't just about politics or trade deals anymore. These words cut deeper, because while Canadians have long supported and fueled the US economy, it now felt like their loyalty was being taken completely for granted.
Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada.
King Charles sends a sharp message to Canada as tensions rise over Trump's 51st state remarks.
The speech he delivered today was written by Prime Minister Mark Carney, who has previously told Trump Canada is not for sale.
Today, Canada faces another critical moment. Democracy, pluralism, the rule of law, self-determination, and freedom are values which Canadians hold dear, and ones which the government is determined to protect. All Canadians can give themselves far more than any foreign power on any continent can ever take away. And that by staying true to Canadian values, Canada can build new alliances and a new economy that serves all Canadians.
Also, the social media Canadian public got a strong response. In cities like New York, Florida, and other popular destinations, businesses that once thrived on Canadian tourism are now grappling with dramatic declines in revenue. From restaurants to hotels to tour operators, local establishments are feeling the pinch as their customer base dries up almost overnight. Take, for instance, Matt Levy, the founder of Spread Love Tours NYC. His company, which once relied heavily on Canadian student and family groups, has seen its earnings plummet from $35,000 in 2024 to just $5,000 in 2025, a staggering 86% drop. Similarly, the Hotel Association of New York reports a 5 to 15% decrease in Canadian bookings across its member hotels over the past month. This downturn isn't limited to New York. In Florida, a state that welcomed 3.3 million Canadian visitors in 2024, tourism is also taking a hit. While some areas report a 10% to 20% drop in Canadian arrivals, others, like Fort Lauderdale, are experiencing declines of up to 43%. As the situation unfolds, businesses and communities that once relied on Canadian visitors are left to navigate the economic fallout of this unprecedented travel boycott. Canada's boycott of flights to America isn't just a headline, it's a historic turning point. What began as a few policy disagreements has now escalated into a bold, unmistakable message. Something is broken in the US-Canada relationship. This isn't just about grounded planes or empty departure gates. This is about sovereignty, respect, and rising resentment. Canada's decision marks a dramatic shift in international relations, and the world is watching. As tensions rise and retaliatory measures stack up, the long-term impact remains uncertain. Will cooler heads prevail through diplomacy and dialogue? Or is this the beginning of a new era, one defined by economic nationalism, hardened borders, and fractured alliances? One thing is clear: the days of business as usual between these two nations are over. The ripple effects could shape the future of North American politics, trade, and tourism for years to come. What do you think about Canada's boycott of US flights? Is it justified, or is it an overreaction? Let us know in the comments below. We read every one.